Hi, I'm Beth Norcross. I direct the Center for Spirituality and Nature. Well, it's January and a new year, and a time that many of us set our intentions for the next several months. And at the center, you've probably noticed we've been trying to give you some hints and a little bit of guidance on how to start or maintain a regular spiritual practice in nature. And by that, I mean a regular time that you open yourself up to the wonders, to the wisdom, to the divine mystery, the source that's available to you out here. Well, as I've been thinking about this intention to develop a regular spiritual practice, it occurs to me that it's kind of like developing a new habit, isn't it? And we all have habits that we find nourishing and helpful, and of course, many that we do not. And the habit experts tell us that it's easier to develop a new habit than to give up an old habit. I've been really informed recently by the work of B.J. Fogg. He's a behavioral scientist out in Stanford in California. And he's developed this really interesting technique that he calls tiny habits. Maybe you've heard of it. The idea behind it is that every large habit is really a bunch of little tiny habits, and in particular, one little tiny habit that got us started. Here's his formula. 3 parts. He says, 1, after I fill in the blank. 2, I will fill in the blank. And number 3, celebrate. Give yourself a woo-hoo. He says this is very important. I had a little trouble getting into that habit. So how would that work with a spiritual practice in nature? Let's say your practice was, you wanted to develop, was just to look outside your window in the morning. So you might go, after I take that first sip of coffee, I will look out the window. And number 3, give yourself a woo-hoo. Very simple. A tiny habit is something that can be done 30 seconds, maybe even less. But I think you'll find, as I have, that those tiny habits build on themselves and become longer-term habits. Another would be, let's say you were trying to develop a habit of taking a morning walk in the natural world. So let's see if B.J. Fogg's formula works for that. Number 1, after I brush my teeth at night. Number 2, I will set out my athletic shoes. Number 3, if I do that, give myself a woo-hoo. You might give it a try and use your imagination and have some fun with this 3-part formula. I know in my life, I've been really surprised at what a difference these tiny little habits can make in all aspects of my life, in particular developing regular spiritual practices in nature. Give it a try. It's really wonderful out here.